we had the main event. It was Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. It was a fight where two legends of the sport, two guys that maybe a bit past their prime. Nonetheless, they faced off in the main event. It was a card that was a bit scattered because we found out the day of the weigh-in, or the day before the weigh-in, the day of the weigh-in rather, that they were going to start switching fights around, opponents around. And instead of getting Khamzat Chimaev versus Nate Diaz in that main event, we got Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson, and then we got Khamzat Chimaev versus Kevin Holland. Again, a lot of conspiracy theories, a lot of stuff to go over. Let's get right into it, man. What's your take on the whole thing? But let's start more so before the fight. Let's start about the weigh-ins and all that. What do you think about all that stuff?
The press conference got fucking stopped. Like, were the UFC underprepared? Because the UFC are never underprepared. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying this whole conspiracy shit. I'm sure we're gonna get into it, but it wasn't really Nate Diaz from what I've seen. It was like Khamzat, which I believe Khamzat wants to fight everyone at every given time. He's been fucking fighting Paulo Costa at the Apex and shit like that. So he's just a wild man, bro. And I've seen footage. Kevin Holland seemed up for it, up for a good scrap. But maybe it might have been the best thing to start the press conference. But the whole thing surrounding that week was just crazy, bro. And I can't help but think Khamzat was probably 95% of the reason why things got wild, because he's a wild fucking guy and such a good fighter.
Well, he's the only one that missed weight, right?
Yeah, he missed weight like fucking by 8 pounds, bro. Like,
nobody else missed weight.
Yeah, he missed weight, so that whole thing, and then switching the fights. He missed weight because it's what, like 8 pounds. That's crazy, bro. Like, apparently a doctor told him to stop cutting weight and stuff like this.
Yeah.
I mean, I just believe things are face value, to be fair, because Hamza's playing the heel now, but I still like him. Yeah, but it was crazy, mate. As MMA fans, but it wasn't even a shock to me. Like, it was pretty impressive how they switched all the fighters and got them to agree. Maybe slid them a little bit more money. But I was watching an interview with Eddie Hearn, if you know him, Matchroom Boxing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he said it was fucking crazy how Dana White pulls that together. But he's such a big admirer of Dana White, and just what the UFC's done. So if anyone's going to do it, it's Dana White and that crazy team he's got. But mad week, man. What do you think of it?
Did they get extra pay for that? I heard that they didn't get anything extra. It was like, wasn't there like some criticism thrown their way or something like that? Maybe I'm wrong because I don't know too much about that. But
no, nobody knows who really knows anything about what went on there. But I just seen Nate Diaz in the post fight press conference saying, like, someone asked him if he got paid a bit more, and he said, like, in the most Nate Diaz way, like, he got took care of. So I assumed it was more. What I can understand, because Nate Diaz, I feel like the older he gets, I can't understand him speaking on the mic. Love him though, legend.
Yeah.
It's like Hamza gets subtitles, but I think Nate Diaz should get subtitles and he embedded as well, because I'm like, what's he saying?
What do you think? It's like he's like maybe a little punch drunk, or I don't know. I feel like it's just a combination of like the age and just where they are from and all that.
Yeah,
kind of just talk that way.
Yeah, maybe a bit punch drunk, but all that scar tissue and stuff. But yeah, I just think he's stoned all the time, and I think he's just laid back attitude with a little sprinkling of punch drunk in there. Might be the why he slurs a bit, but legend. And to be honest with you, mate, I'm so glad that he wasn't against Hamzat for his last UFC fight. So I feel like it played out well, but that's where the conspiracy comes into place as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the conspiracy exactly? That Dana told Hamzat to miss weight, so they would do this thing and swap around, so Nate Diaz goes off as a legend. Is that what the conspiracy is?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like this conspiracy is definitely that I guess they told Hamzat to stop cutting weight, but I don't know if it was for it to maybe have Nate ride off into the sunset, because I actually don't even know how much they want Nate to ride off into the sunset. Like, I think the initial plan of Hamzat was actually what they wanted to do. I think that was their intentions. I mean, think about it. I don't think the UFC want Nate Diaz to go out and fight Jake Paul now, coming off a win. Because what if Jake Paul beats Nate Diaz and then Nate Diaz is coming off a win in the UFC? You know what I mean? The UFC would prefer Jake Paul to fight Nate Diaz. And it's not even that I want to bring him in, but he's going to box Nate Diaz. Even if he doesn't get past Anderson Silva, it might happen anyway. But I mean, that's the thing, right? Is like the UFC would prefer him to be coming off a loss, right? Now if
Mm-hmm.
Jake Paul fights Nate Diaz, you can market it as, oh, he's still
Yeah.
good. Look what he did to Tony Ferguson. But the truth of the
Yeah.
matter is, and let's get back to the fight that matters, was Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. This fight was just long overdue. This is a fight that
Yeah.
should have happened 5 years ago, 5, 6 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
It's obvious
100%.
Tony Ferguson is not in his prime anymore. Nate Diaz
No,
is
he's not.
not in his prime anymore. Nate Diaz has lost what, like 5 of 6 or something like that. Tony Ferguson is on a 5-fight losing streak. You know, you can't say that they're the guys of old because they've shown nothing of that. I mean, Nate kind of has, right? But for what it was a fun fight. Whether it was a conspiracy or not, I don't know, man. It's almost too complicated to even start debating this because there's so
Yeah.
much to it that I'm just gonna leave it at face value, like you said. And I'll just say that I guess, Hamzat maybe wasn't looked like he was gonna struggle making weight, whether he made it or not. So maybe the UFC was like, don't do that, and I have a better idea. I don't know. But then again, it's like,
Yeah.
does UFC want Nate to win? So that's why I don't know. It's like a pretzel for me.
Mm.
When you look at
Yeah,
the
it's
fight
weird.
stylistically, right? Nate was doing well in the boxing. He was, hitting Tony Ferguson in the head a
Yeah,
lot more
yeah.
than Tony was hitting him, but Tony was getting Nate's legs a lot more. So it would almost
Mm-hmm.
evened out, right? It was a fun fight. What makes me think about the finish of that fight, the guillotine, right? Coming off a takedown, Tony Ferguson, which I don't understand why he would do that. He was starting to chop Nate's legs down real bad. Looked like it was going to be bad for him,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
don't get the thought of the takedown. But when the takedown happened and Diaz got him right into that guillotine quick, because it was right off the takedown,
Yeah.
makes you wonder if Nate practices jujitsu all the time. He trains with the Gracie guys and all that. But it
Yeah. Yeah.
makes you
Yeah.
wonder if Nate specifically for this fight knew he was going to get taken down by Hamzat, who he was preparing for, and was like, all right, let me get him in this
Mm.
guillotine real quick. It
Mm-hmm.
makes maybe that was something he had
That's
in his arsenal.
that's very accurate. I didn't even think about that. Like, you forget they've been training for other guys, and I mean, Tony said he might have needed some more time, but nobody had the time. It was like, what, 24 to 48 hours. I
Sure.
also enjoyed the fight. Yeah, there were two veterans, just two guys who you knew maybe it would have been better 5 years ago, but I enjoyed the whole thing. I even like Nate Diaz antics, going for breaks and that. It's just so Nate Diaz what he does. Goes for breaks, doesn't give a shit. Tony doesn't look at his old self, but still, I think people forget how good Nate Diaz is. Yeah, yeah, they're both old, but Nate Diaz, like, wasn't so long ago he maybe could have finished the current welterweight champion, Leon Edwards. Maybe could have
Maybe.
finished him
Yeah.
if he wasn't so himself and just pointed at him. So Nate Diaz is still good, bro. And I'm sure you can explore many options and go boxing or start his own promotion, whatever. I don't think it's time for Tony to hang it up yet. People have been saying that it is. I think he's got a couple more scraps in him. He's coming from that level of just like not so long ago, just a beast, and just went on a bad run, man. So we'll
Five in
see
a
what
row.
happens.
Yeah.
5 in a row. Tony Ferguson. Who would have thought? Like,
He is fighting the best of the best, to be fair. Like, you thought that maybe
exactly.
the Leech was going to be like sort of a better, but then he's getting in there with Nate Diaz again, or whether you think Nate's in his prime or
Yeah.
not, still Nate Diaz, right? Look at the last 5 guys
Yeah.
Tony's faced. And it's like, I mean, yeah, I kind of get it. But even the Chandler fight, I get why you wouldn't say that Tony's not done, because you even look at the Michael Chandler fight and Tony dropped him in the first round and Tony was
Yeah.
looking good in that fight. And I was like, oh, okay, here we go. But
Yeah.
I
And
don't
that's
know, man.
and that's against Michael Chandler, bro, who's like elite, top of the level. Like on his day, he can beat fucking anyone. I truly believe that. Like, but he's got to go up against Dustin Poirier, but that's well in the future, isn't it? But
Yeah.
yeah, I enjoyed the fight. I mean, so Tony Ferguson, he's still in the UFC. Nate Diaz not. I can't see where Nate Diaz goes from here. I really don't. Like,
He's
I
gonna,
don't
I
think
mean, he
he'll do
said he's gonna
anything.
box, right?
Yeah, is that what? Yeah,
That's what
I
he
mean,
said. You heard him in the post-fight interview. I've never heard a fighter
mhm.
just be so blatantly open that they're not coming back. Joe was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Joe was like, Nate, could you see a UFC return or something like that? Could we see you back? And Nate was like, yeah, I want to try his whole boxing shit, bro.
That's a
Some
good
shit.
impression.
You know what I'm saying? He said some shit like that. But
Yeah,
yeah.
it could have been a barn burner 5 years ago. We didn't get a barn burner that we expected because, like you say, a little bit past the prime. Decent fight, but I mean, to be honest with you, I think the whole pay per view was kind of like the whole switcheroo thing made it less exciting for me. To be honest, I don't know who else feels like that, but I don't know. It just felt weird to me. Like, and
That's
I
interesting because a lot of people actually like the Switch. I mean, I kind of liked it, but it didn't like I wasn't over the moon or anything. But did you like
no.
the original lineup more, the original one?
Well, yeah. I really did. Like, especially you know, just Diaz versus
Diaz you like?
Shemaev. I liked all the original fights to be fair. Um, Tony versus Lee Jingyang, um, just Holland versus D-Rock. Just the whole ones because I don't know. I just to me personally, I like the anticipation and the build up and stuff. And when it got swapped around like that, I was like, oh, and that maybe like some of the fighters hearts were in it if they felt the same, like not enough time to prepare, like just go out and because these training camps are built towards the opponents more or less. Like yeah, they might be in shape, but like I don't know, just something I was thinking about. I couldn't get myself built up to it so much. I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, but I don't know.
So
Maybe
what
I'm
was
just
the
weird.
original lineup supposed to be, right? I think what was it? The Leech
It was
versus Tony and then Hamza versus Nate, right?
Leach versus Tony, Hamzat, Nate, and then it was Holland versus D-Rod,
Holland
D
versus
Rodriguez.
D-Rod.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's right. Holland was supposed to be fighting D-Rod. Yeah.
Yeah, and like D Rod's a bit of a gangster, and Holland like
What a
he
different
just
fight D-Rod is from Hamza, right? Like,
yeah
bro.
yeah exactly man. Like Holland's a gangster for fucking stepping up like against Hamza.